I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And start with roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Graven. Here. Commissioner Phipps.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Would anybody like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move to approve the minutes of the special and regular meetings of November the 7th, 2023, and bills and payroll for the first half of November 2023. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox and roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven. Yes. Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Presentations, petitions, and communications. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on this agenda, but the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentation to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We would also ask you state your name and address for the record, as well as stand when speaking. Would anybody like to address the council tonight? Okay, we got one disruptive person in the audience. Okay, so hearing none, we're going to move to, we're going to acknowledge retirement. And
I'll take that, Mayor. Yeah, Dave Basham is leaving us effective December 2nd. He's the chief, superintendent of the water treatment plant, been with us, again, 36 years. I don't think the words I'm going to say are going to do justice to the job he's done, but he not only knows the inner workings of the water treatment plant, but he also has, recently I've been in some meetings with him. He has a very good rapport with the operators, and also he works well with the public. So wish he could have been here tonight, but definitely it's going to be a big replacement. It's going to be tough to fill. So definitely wish him well.
any other comments? Anybody? Okay, let's see. We have a presentation of the FY23 audit with from Roth and Company. So you could go up there, introduce yourself, and then we just lead us through it.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having us. I'm Leilani Rodrigo. I'm a partner from Roth and Company, and I'm here with Sindel, and we're here to present the result of the audit for fiscal year 2022.
Oh, maybe it's not gonna work. Might be too far away. Yeah.
So you have the packets in front of you.
Right.
I lost track.
Got batteries right here.
Yeah.
That is the wrong side of battery.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch it up here.
Can you move it from there?
Yeah.
Okay, you just have to leave no in.
Sorry about that.
Working on flyer.
All right. So just to give you an overview, we're going to discuss about the audit opinions, the financial statement highlights, the audit findings, the management letter comments for the library, the adjusting entries which we attached in the packet, and then the question and answer. We're also going to discuss about the next steps after we before we finalize the audit. So for the audit opinions issued, for the audit of CG's financial statements, including the component units, the library, and the pension funds, we issued an unmodified opinion. For the audit in accordance with the uniform guidance for the single audit, we also issued an unmodified opinion. And for the audit report on supplementary information, that's for the TIP funds and the GAGA's consolidated year-end financial report, we also issued an unmodified opinion, and same with the report on TIP compliance. So all is unmodified. So moving on to the financial statement highlights. Next. So in fiscal year 2023, there were certain accounts that we restated to implement the GASB statement number 87, that's the leases, and then correct some errors that we noted from the prior year. So the first is the IMRF pension, the net pension liability or asset, the different outflows of resources and different inflows of resources. We restated the beginning balance. Same with the capital assets, the construction and progress account, the infrastructure, and the related accumulated depreciation. We restated that. And then the third, the implementation of GASB statement number 87. Although there's no impact on the net position, the following accounts, the right to assets, lease liabilities, all related to these, we recorded that to fiscal year 20. Also, part of the financial statement highlights, we just want to discuss that there were federal monies still received from the coronavirus state and fiscal recovery funds that have not yet been fully spent, which totals 2.1 million. And then the sewer fund construction project totaling 6.4 million has been completed and is within operation. All right, so now we'll be discussing the financial statement items.
So also one of the financial highlights is the OPEB pension and OPEB impact. So during the year, the following amounts seen in the screen and the hard copy that provided, these are the transactions or the amounts that is presented into the financial statement. So basically the IMRF from last year's net pension asset, it became to liability. Police pension liability actually decreased. It's from 34.2 million from last year, and now it's 31 million. Firefighters pension, it actually increases by 1 million, while OPEB decreases by roughly 4 million. So the changes into the pension and OPEB are based on the assumptions, the discount rates, the salary increases during the year. Okay, moving on to the next item, these are the high overview of the balances that we have during the year and in comparison with 2022. So I'm just gonna give a highlight for the asset. Although there is an increase in cash during the year, the IMRF net pension was moved, or since it became to liability, that impacted or that decreased the asset portion. So for the deferred outflow of resources, and I would also like to add the deferred inflow of resources, these are actually related to the pension and OPEB. So again, these are based on the assumptions during the year for pensions and OPEB. For liabilities, it decreases mainly due to a repayment of general bonds and notes. And on overall, during our audit, we noted a net increase in the net position of the city and library of 8 million. I think we can go to the next slide where we will highlight the major revenue sources. So these are the revenue sources during the fiscal year 2023 and 2022. So I'm not gonna provide you detailed information right here, but I just wanted to point out that since the biggest change here based on the materiality of our financial statement is the charges for services, which changed like 77% during the year. This is mainly due to the city re-entering into the ambulance services. And moving on to the expenditures, also just wanted to highlight for the public safety, there are various factors that increase the public safety expenditures. There are, we noted some expenditures or payments related to vehicles, increase in salaries, and also like the contribution. And also economic development since this year, fiscal year 2023, Remington and I-57 business district was new or was open during this year. So there are expenditures related to that contributed to the increase in economic development expense.
Okay. So now let's move to the audit findings. So the audit finding that we noted, there's only one finding that we noted for this year is same as prior years, and that's the controls over financial statements preparation. And we consider that as a material weakness. Although the statements are, I mean, the balances are prepared by Beth and by the finance, we have to convert it to government-wide financial statements. That's why we have that finding. For the single audit, we did not note any instances of non-compliance or significant deficiencies or material weakness. Same with the compliance with the bid requirements, we did not find any findings. For the management letter comments and the specific for the library, this is just for discussion purposes. This will not appear in the financial audit report. During our testing or during our audit, we noted that there were expenditures that were not adequately supported with proper documentation. And our recommendation is for the library to implement procedures to ensure that adequate records and supporting documents are maintained for all expenditures in fact. Next page, please. Also, another comment for the library is the controls over personal affair records. Also, during our testing or audit, we noted that there were insufficient supporting documentations for the salaries paid to the former library director. And the deputy director is the one performing all of their personal related duties, from scheduling part-time employees to approving timesheets and recording payroll expenses. So our recommendation is to implement procedures to ensure payroll changes are adequately supported and incompatible duties are being addressed. And that's it for our presentation. Overall, we had a good audit. Although this is our first year, I know we have some shortcomings. I believe, according to Beth, we are kind of late, but that's because of this is our first year of audit. So we tried to build up from our records, and then we also noted some not really mistake, but errors in the prior year balances that we need to correct for this year. Do you have any questions for us?
I think a 3-week delay is not bad.
Okay, thank you.
Any question anybody has at this point? I'm sure if we have questions that come up, we know how to get in touch with you, and or Beth will take care of it for us and figure out what we need. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Next on the agenda is new business. And I move to adopt special ordinance number 2023-1878, declaring personal property owned by the municipality surplus and authorize the sale or disposal of the property. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox, and any comments on this, these items? Anybody? Okay, then we'll go ahead and take a
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Raven? Yes. Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
yes. And then originally we had another motion which was withdrawn. You may have seen that early on. So we go to actually the third item on the agenda, which goes to Commissioner Phipps.
A motion to approve council decision request 2023-2428, approving the plans and specifications of the Broadway Avenue streetscaping project from 16th Street to 14th Street.
Can I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Clausen, and any comments on this? Yes.
Dean, go ahead. And I have a comment. Do you have any?
I was just gonna say that this are due on December 13th, they'll be ready for final approval on the 19th. And the project is scheduled to be completed next year. Yes. Requirement, October the 31st.
The requirement is October 31st.
And I'd just like to mention, one, I'd like to thank Dean for your continued diligence on this project. That first block that we did was what, now 7 years ago? This started out to be a 5-block project that we were going to do over 5 years, correct? And COVID kind of got in the way there and so forth.
And financial constraints.
Lots of little factors, but just a great project that's done a lot for the downtown area. Is that right, Ed? Would that reduce it? And it's been a fantastic project that's just, we knew it was going to be in phases and it's taken a while. I appreciate your continued diligence in getting it done, and it's paid off. It's going to be a great completion to that project.
I would agree totally. I think that these projects, they do take a while, it seems like, but it's a big team effort. There's a lot of people involved with these projects. And the comments that I'm hearing about the downtown area is, phenomenal. So appreciate all the hard work everybody's done.
Yep.
And any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Graven? Yes. Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve council decision request 2023-2429, approving a $8,000 grant by the Tourism Advisory Committee from FY 23-24 Hotel Motel Tax Funds to the Mattoon Youth Wrestling Club in support of the Mattoon Youth Open to be held on January 7th, 2024, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement.
And can we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Phipps, and any comments on this item? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven? Yes. Mayor Hall?
Yes. Next item is department reports, starting with City Administrator Kyle Gill.
Just working on a lot of replacements for personnel that have left or are leaving. Working on those documents, getting advertisements out, reviewing, doing interviews. So there's a lot going on in that area. Trying to keep up with legislation updates with the paid leave for part-time employees that comes into effect in January. They'll be working on an ordinance on that, and there's still some stuff that's being decided in Springfield. So see if there was any changes that may occur before January. But working on that ordinance, equal opportunity plan that we have to do every couple of years, working on that. So just several things going on, a lot of little things, fires to put out, but and not by the fire department. But yeah, a lot of little projects. But other than that, I'll open it up for questions.
Any questions for Kyle? Okay, City Attorney Dan Jones.
No, I don't. I was sitting here looking at Kyle, realized I had to say something, and it's been business as usual for me, so I don't have anything really to report, but happy to take questions on anything.
Any questions for Dan? Next one is City Clerk Susan O'Brien. I know she's been busy.
Just a lot of insurance enrollment changes, et cetera, new hire processing. Otherwise, business as usual, and happy Thanksgiving.
And next is Finance, Beth Wright.
We received the final installment of property taxes and employment. The cumulative total is 5.19 million, whereas we levied 5.26. So we collected 98.74% of what was levied. Passed out the October financial report, showing 6 months of operation. General fund revenue today of 14.6, versus expenditures of 13.4. For year-to-date surplus of 1.2 million. Look at the percentage budget. Most things should be near 50%. Property taxes are ahead, of course, because that's not a 12-month distribution. Utility tax is down, and use tax is down in terms of the budget. And under the expenditures category, benefits and transfers are more than 50% because of the property tax receipts that have then in turn paid out to the pensions in the library. Purchase services and supplies were over 50%, but everything else is pretty much 50% or less. Cumulative cash position at the end of October, 27.6 million versus 26.3 million. That's that. And the revenue tracking, I updated today with the property taxes. And we're raising the corner with the $58,000. So we're very, very close to what we brought in a year ago in terms of our media sources of revenues. And lastly, the unrestricted cash and general fund is just over 13 million. It's up because the property taxes have not yet been distributed to the pensions. And the library, those checks will probably be cut tomorrow. And that's all I have to report.
Any questions for Beth? All right, next is Public Works, Dean Barber.
The biggest news is that we finally received the grant agreement from IDOT, the $2 million grant, BDP grant for the sports complex, and that'll be on the next council meeting for approval.
Good.
That's all I have to report.
Any questions for Dean? Anybody? Okay, let's see. Now we go to our fire chief, Jeff Hilligoss.
Thank you, Mayor. Busy couple of weeks for us. The guys answered 183 calls for service since our last meeting. 3 of those in 5 days. We had 3 working structure fires. No injuries on any of them, occupants or firefighters. Working smoke detectors in 2 of the houses alerted the occupants, so no injuries. 5 guys completed and passed, graduated last Friday, the Peoria Fire Academy. So the 3 full-timers are back with us. And it's already helped reduce our overtime big time. So training wise, they did EMS, and I apologize, Dave, but I want to shout out to Casey Summers for, they gave us a electrical vehicle for the guys to do training on, which was very good training that they've done the last 2 weeks. I have passed out to all of you. I won't go into great detail unless you have questions, but just a summary of some of the major fixes and stuff that has been going on with our fleet of apparatus. We currently are renting a fire truck, which I didn't even know was an option until I went from 4 pumping apparatus to 1 and needed something desperately, and found this gentleman out of Canton that we are renting this fire truck for $115 a day for a couple of weeks. So until we can get our trucks fixed. Our 2 main engines, engine 21 had a broken leaf spring, and they think whatever had broken caused that to break, put a tear in the turbo intake because we started getting a check engine light. So that's why that engine was down. While we were waiting on parts for that engine, the fan shroud came apart and took out the radiator of engine 23. So that is still waiting on parts to be fixed, and why we are using the rental truck. So we put ladder 24 into service. Our reserve engine, which is engine 26, would not go into pump gear, and that's the truck that had failed pump tests in previous years. So I'm laying all this groundwork in preparation for next council meeting, that I'm going to be bringing the request of a new fire truck. In my phone conversations trying to get trucks here, for us to operate out of, Craig Hamrick, who is the E1 rep down at Banner, where we bought engine 21, they have a truck that is for sale. It's just an engine, nothing fancy about it, and it is priced right now at $663,907. That's, in talking to him prior to COVID, this same engine 3 years ago was, what do you say, $420,000 in that neighborhood? So the prices have just went crazy the last 3 years. But that does not include any of the shelving or anything that they would be making and installing at Banner. So my guess is this truck is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $700,000 to $725,000. I'm waiting on a proposal for what all that's going to cost, the final cost. So in summary, I'm in desperate need of a truck. Once we get our trucks fixed, I am still going to be writing the grant for the Quint that I have talked about, which is the 75-foot ladder truck. That truck is $1.3 million. So instead of trying to find one of those at a quick notice, I thought maybe this route might be our best option. So just laying the groundwork, the next council meeting, I'm hoping to have a truck on the agenda. So I will be more than happy to answer any questions now or later. If you want to call me next week, if something comes up, feel free to give me a call.
Any questions anybody has for Jeff? All right, then next is the police department, Chief Sam Gaines.
Last 2 weeks, we had 743 calls for service and 42 arrests. Calls are down a little bit, but that's due to time of year, public nuisance, and started driving us crazy. So the calls are going to be a little lower, but arrest numbers are roughly the same. I just got to share this because it makes me happy. We got an anonymous tip today that a gentleman we know from town had painted a gun and a mask and he was planning a robbery. Only the tipster didn't know where or when, and this guy would be good for it. Kind of made the hair on the back of my neck stand up a little because I could see it happening. I just got a text from you with Wilson that they just picked him off and he had the gun on him. So these guys, they get after it.
Good deal.
I can't say enough good about them.
Sure.
Great. Any questions for Sam? Anybody? Next is Arts and Tourism, Angelia Burgett.
Thank you. So first, let me say that I presented this week. The Business Navigators Alliance out of Effingham has last year started something with chamber directors and tourism directors to talk about holiday things going on in their community. And it's a webinar of sorts. And so I participated in that this week. It's kind of cool to see what other people are doing and also to feel like we're doing all right. I have a new anthem in the office, which you guys can share, is other people have lights, but nobody else has Lightworks, because we find that a lot of people have light displays, but nobody's doing it at the pace we're doing it. So kind of exciting. And speaking of Lightworks, we had our walkthrough Thursday, and we had 10,000 folks come through. It was a beautiful evening, and it was a crazy night, 2.5 hours or so, and about 10,000 people.
Wow.
And so we had vendors out there, and it was just a really cool experience. So, of course, the weather isn't as nice, so we really got lucky. We opened up with cars on Friday. We've seen, as of Monday evening, a little over 1,800 cars have come through, and that's just the beginning, of course, of the holiday season. We have lights downtown now in Heritage Park. You guys have probably already all seen those. We have the trees, 4 trees and 3 displays, which is meant to mimic some of the idea of walking through the lights. Pictures there, and they're already doing that. We also have building lights on part of downtown now. So those have been up for a little over a week, and we're going to start sort of scheduling out what that's going to look like throughout the year. Those will be on throughout all the seasons. And that's about all I have for now.
Any questions? A lot of people, I know everybody around the table up here has got positive comments about the way the downtown area looks. A lot of effort goes into that also. I think we'll see a lot more of that. I tried to take credit, the lady at Hunan, she says, I don't know who put those lights in the park over there, but they look like they're just for me. And I said, I told her that I did that.
Funny story about May.
Yeah.
She has been, I mean, she's been supporting things that we do for longer than I've been around. And almost every single year, we put sponsorship letters on Friday and we have her check on Monday. She's almost always the first person to step up, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so it does really look great down there. Okay, so the next on the list is community development. Alex?
Yep. So yeah, I got some ordinance coming out to council pretty soon. Some of it for the next meeting, some of it for the meeting after that. So specifically, we're going to be looking into potentially waiving building permit fees for approximately 2 years, potentially on a recurring basis for new residential construction. I'd be more than happy to talk to council members individually or as a group about that. It's just a way to kind of spur new housing development as we continue to grow as a community. You look at neighboring communities like Charleston, they don't charge permit fees for new residential construction. And so, just really trying to make sure that we're competitive on a regional level. Also, we'll be sending over a potentially revised alcohol ordinance that would really allow us to be more flexible with how, we're attempting to attract new businesses like microbreweries, wineries, things like that, while still limiting the growth of gaming in our community. From there, same thing, plan unit development ordinance will be out within the next 2 weeks to council, potentially some parking stuff as well. And then last but not least, our GIS housing stock survey is approximately 76% complete. So if you look at this map, this is sort of where we started just a few weeks ago with our Lakeland College interns. So approximately 9,000 parcels in our community are being surveyed. This was what it looked like in the beginning. That's what it looks like now. Every single one of these dots is a parcel in our community that has been, or that needed to be surveyed by our Lakeland College interns. So you can just see the phenomenal progress they've made in less than a month and a half. So really just wanted to give them a shout out. And, I'm not going to get up there and click stuff, but basically they're ranking the exterior appearance of all of the properties in our community. So, 0 to 4. And then we're specifically taking pictures of zeros and ones to be able to kind of follow up with code enforcement for those properties. Now we're going to have a map of where every single problem property is in our community. So it's a huge update for Matt Toon and a huge way for us to move forward.
There's a lot of great work there. Any questions for Alex? Comments? Okay, next is the commissioners. Dave Phipps?
Yep.
Go first.
Gosh, spent a little bit of time in Public Works, or at least at the administration level, interviewing and reviewing resumes for Mr. Barber's replacement come January, and that's moving along. Gosh, great Lightworks display, great turnout, fabulous. Other than that, everybody happy Thanksgiving and I think happy birthday, right?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
I do have a birthday. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Got a lot of nasty cards and Facebook comments and a lot of things, so.
It's tough.
I appreciate
Tough to be
that.
king, right?
What's that?
It's tough to be king.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get birthday notices now?
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Dave?
No.
Commissioner Clausen, you're up.
It took 2 phone calls, but I convinced Dave not to sing happy birthday tonight. So just want to let you know that, Mayor.
Okay.
Be a little embarrassing. A couple of things. Had a meeting with Kurt Stretch since Lightworks is completed. He's getting the final mowings of the parks, and hopefully that'll be completed by tomorrow. So basically, our parks are going to be in good shape and get ready for next spring. And then I noticed downstairs they started the concrete, the sidewalk improvements leading up to the elevator. So that's a good project and hopefully would prevent any trips, slips and falls. So
Great.
and happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Any questions? Next, we have Commissioner Cox.
Thank you, Mayor. Ladies from Roth and Company, thank you for being here. Good presentation. We appreciate your work. Thank you. Also, I feel compelled again, Chief, please pass along good work to Officer Wilson and everybody involved there. I've said this before, but it just continues to amaze me how the preventive work, right, that happens. And so what I'm hearing as a citizen, not just as a council member, but as a citizen, that there was a person planning a robbery with a gun and was apprehended before that happened. And so from my family living here, greatly appreciate it. And it happens all the time. It's a regular thing. And I think we have a lot to be proud of with our police department. So thank you.
I think I should just also add Luke Wilson's off work. He's working CS from home.
That's even-
Passing that information into
Great job.
his wife and kids sitting there. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, so great job. Thank you to everyone there. And then Lightworks, I did want to pass along what an impact that has on restaurants, because I was supposed to pick up dinner on the way home and that took a while. So continued good works there. Do appreciate it. Then Mayor, I did want to wish you a happy birthday. And so I'm speaking up a little bit,
Right.
you know, so happy birthday. Do appreciate it.
I thought there for a minute you were going to sing.
I may, but there's almost too many people here for that. So,
Everybody would leave.
yes, they would. That would make the newspaper, not for the right reasons either. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. That's it.
Commissioner Graven?
Just thank the auditors. I know I don't audit, so your bailiwick. I know it's a hard process. Thank everybody for coming and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
All I've got to say is I have a lot of things to be thankful for.
Amen.
And I wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. And we need a motion first.
I make most to adjourn.
Okay, Commissioner.
I'll second that.
Okay, second. And roll call.
Mr. Clausen,
Yes.
Mr. Cox,
Yes.
Mr. Raymond, no. Mr. Fox,
Yes.
and Mayor Hall.
Yes, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Happy birthday. So, that's